This is the August.
We're good to go.
This is the August 24th, 2022 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is Kevin Tidd. I am the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati, and I will preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20220121. The property in question is 1 Paul Brown Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio 45202. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. The public will have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. If there is more than one person opposing an application, those persons should decide among themselves the length of time each will to speak. If an opposition group is in attendance, I may request that a spokesperson be chosen to speak on behalf of the group. If the applicant is represented by an attorney, the applicant's attorney may cross-examine any person who has testified at the hearing. If a party of record is represented by an attorney, the attorney for the party of record may present witnesses after the applicant has presented its case and may cross-examine any person who has testified at the hearing. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to an application, the applicant shall have an opportunity to rebut the testimony and or argument offered in opposition. After the applicant has been given an opportunity to rebut any testimony and or argument offered in opposition, any attorney for a party of record will have an opportunity to make a closing statement. Finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make a closing statement. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. A decision may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions and to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony or documents. This means evidence you want to introduce that consists of a statement made by a person who is not present at this hearing, or a document that includes a statement of the person who is not at the hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties with the video conferencing technology, I may continue or postpone this hearing at my discretion. All persons providing testimony will be sworn in now. Sir, what is your name for the record?
Luke Blocher.
Mr. Blocher, you're the attorney for the applicant, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, no need to swear you in then. We'll just get to it. Why don't you tell me just a little bit about your project and why you're here?
Sure. I represent the Cincinnati Bengals Incorporated, which are the tenant of at now Paycor Stadium, located still at 1 Paul Brown Stadium down the river. Mm-hmm. And we are here requesting relief to install temporary signs during the upcoming NFL season that starts on September 11th.
So my understanding is it looks like your client wants to install 4 temporary signs, and the relief you're seeking is you're seeking 4 variances for the material type of the signs. You're also seeking 4 variances for the dimensions of the signs. Then you're also seeking a variance for the length of time the signs will be displayed. And then you're also seeking 2 variances for locational variances because 2 of the signs will cover windows. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. What are these signs going to be? I assume it's an NFL stadium. I assume it's going to be NFL or Cincinnati Bengal themed.
Yeah, well, it's going to essentially be the name of the stadium. So the stadium, as part of the sponsorship partnership agreement with Paycor, the actual name of the stadium has changed, and so these signs are going to, pretty simply reflect that new name.
So it's going to be sponsors.
Correct.
Is it common to have sponsor-based signs in and around Paul Brown Stadium?
It is common in and around Paul Brown Stadium. It's part of, and there's been several similar approvals the city has granted. Both, I guess they've all been variances to the state related to these types of signs.
So this property it's not new to large signs. Is it fair to say that large signs kind of dominate that property due to just the sheer size of it?
I would say large signs relative to the rest of the downtown district, they're still relatively small relative to the size of Paul Brown Stadium. I'm sorry, Paycor Stadium.
Does that go to why they're necessary? I mean, I guess would a sign that fit the requirements of the code would that work for what you guys are what your client is trying to achieve?
No, I think that, and as was, I think, articulated in both our application and I think the staff report recommending approval of these variances. I think I think it's been found by the city in previous decisions of the zoning hearing examiner that in order for these signs to have effect as signs, to be able to be seen and actually observed and taken in, they have to be, a fairly significant size because of the size of the overall structure and the horizontal orientation of the structure, as opposed to the vertical orientation of most buildings that are regulated by the DD district.
Do you think the signs as proposed, do you think it'll fit the character of the neighborhood?
I do. I think I think again, as sort of articulated in our application and also in the staff report, it's extremely consistent with the surrounding uses in the Banks District, the Great American Ballpark, the Heritage Bank Arena. So I think we believe that it fits right in line with the current character of the neighborhood.
These signs they're going to be unique to Paul Brown Stadium, right? Like they were designed specifically for Paul Brown Stadium.
That's correct.
Do you think they'll adversely affect the property or the neighborhood in any way?
I do not. Again, I think as articulated in our report or in our application and in the staff report, these types of signs are already in existence in many sort of similar institutions in the area. And it's not in a residential area. It is sort of par for the course for this particular neighborhood. So I do not believe it will have an adverse effect.
So you think I guess the signs as proposed, they fit other large, I know that area, I mean, we don't have an arena district, but it is, Great American Ballpark is right there. The Freedom Center is there. The arena is there. And they also tend to have large signs. I guess you think it'll fit that character?
Yes, absolutely.
So, I don't have any more questions for you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I close out the hearing today?
No, I guess I would quickly like to thank you for your time, thank Cassandra for her time. And I specifically thank the staff for their recommendation of approving this, and to note that we agree with as the applicants, we agree with the findings of the staff report, and would encourage them to be adopted in the decision. And also that just as context, the season does start September 11th. So I know that the organization is sort of ready to submit all the necessary permits. And I think this will be the one issue that will have to be obviously resolved for those to be approved. But there is a little bit of a time pressure, and that's not anybody here's fault, obviously, but that's just the context of the world we're in and the way this process is all developed and the timing of the NFL season. So we'll appreciate as much as possible whatever level of speed can come out, the decision can come out with. We hope it's one to approve.
Well, the good news for you is that I'm just filling in today for our typical zoning hearing examiner who actually just came back from leave. So this is the only decision that I have to write. So it'll be out pretty fast.
That's great. Well, we really appreciate that. No, again, I think that our application, the reports or the staff reports speak for themselves, and we'll appreciate your consideration of both.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right, we will close out the hearing now.